Hey everybody, it's me. I'm back. I know it's been a few weeks since I've uploaded, but whatever. Um yeah, the Ruin DLC was my last bit of content, and now that that's over, I don't know what to do. But we have a good day for the channel today, because today we're interviewing another member of the Bendy and the Dark Revival cast. Before, we have interviewed the voice of Joey Drew, Dave Rivas, who's now a good friend of mine, and we talk a lot, and it's pretty cool. And then we have Allie Murphy, who was the voice of Betty, and she was really sweet, really nice, and today's gonna be a treat too. Today, with me, we have the one and only Ink Demon, Sean Crisden. Hello!
Well, hello. That's. I have some big shoes to fill. You had some of the other cast on, and yeah, I'm nowhere near as entertaining as them.
We'll see. We'll see. We have about an hour or a little more to see how entertaining you are.
No pressure.
None at all. Not whatsoever.
I have to come up with a whole bit and dance routine to do. Clearly, under an hour.
Absolutely, yeah. You have enough space behind you to do that.
I think I do. I think I can work it out. I just have to limber up.
Yeah. Like I did before hitting record.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty, so yeah, we have Sean Crisden here to my left on the channel today. This one actually has been a while in the planning. It was supposed to happen back in April, but I ended up with COVID, which threw a wrench in everything. I was supposed to interview Sean and Lauren, the voice of Alice Angel, in the same weekend.
That's
And
right.
then I got the virus.
The virus. Oh, you were probably spared from having both of us in such short time. I don't know.
Yeah, it might have
I
been a
don't know.
bit too much. It might have been a bit too much. Having time to adjust being in a server all the time with Dave now has made me much less nervous around voice actors and stuff and bigger names like you and Lauren and Dave. And so I feel like the time has helped a little bit,
Good.
but
It
here
feels
we
very
are.
natural. I don't see. I don't smell any fear. So
May
it's a little disappointing, but we're gonna go with it.
I mean, if I was interviewing the Ink Demon directly, I feel like I'd be a bit more fearful.
Well, I have contractual obligations not to cause any fatalities.
Yeah.
Maimings, however,
I
I think
mean,
that's a
there's no
loophole.
problem with those. There's a gray
Yeah,
area. There's a gray
that's
area.
right. That's right.
But yeah, guys, this is gonna be great. I actually have a slightly different set of questions this time because it felt kind of repetitive asking the same list of questions for each person, and so I've decided to kind of switch things up a bit and make it a bit more personalized to the person I am speaking with. So I hope my lighting's okay. I spent like a bit of time figuring that out. Yeah, I move around a lot. It's the ADHD in my bloodstream.
I share similar blood. I get it. There's a leg bouncing down here right now.
Yeah, same, exactly.
Hmm.
It's
Can you
just
tell? Can you tell my leg is bouncing? It's
here we
just,
go.
it's very subtle. I don't know if you can see.
You're going on a rodeo. The hat helps. The ever so famous Sean Crisden hat in the love streams that we see pretty much every single time you're on camera.
Pretty much. I've
yeah.
tried to explain to people that the hat is actually my hairstyle. This is actually
Yeah.
my hairstyle styled in the shape of a hat. Yeah,
If
well,
you were to
like
take it off, your hair would be in a dome with 2 divots in the front, like the hat.
well, if I were to take it off, it would expose my skull. So
yeah,
it's just
exactly.
hair attached to it. Well, living in the desert, I used to wear a ball cap or something when I lived on the East Coast, but now in the desert since 2010, hat is sort of a necessity. so that your brain can continue to function and not boil in your cranial cavity.
I'm gonna fix my hair. There. Now it's
Oh,
actually
wait, just
visible.
rub it in. Rub it in. I get it. Okay.
No, that's not the point. We've seen
Right,
Sean
right.
Crisden's skull now. It's been revealed.
Sure, that's right. Might have even just been the top of my brain. Very smooth brain.
Yeah, it's just the same color as your skin.
That's right. It's
just,
convenient.
It's,
it
yeah,
keeps it easy.
it blends in. It blends in.
Mm-hmm.
This does not look good. I'm putting the hair back. All right.
Just teasing me. See, and
Yeah,
I'm
that's
sure
all it was.
that on the
That's all
video,
it was.
it's just basically slow-mo
Yes,
like a shampoo
absolutely.
ad going on there.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly that. Yeah, we're sponsored by L'Oreal. No, I'm kidding. All right. So, I think it's time we get into the nitty gritty with Sean Crisden. All right, here is the first question of our interview.
I'm ready.
Are you sure?
Hold on. I think so.
Hold on
I
to
don't
the
know.
arms of your chair. Hold on. Bumpy roller coaster on the way.
It's just Bridge of the Enterprise right now.
Yes, exactly. Dave is
That's
flying,
right.
so we should be scared. All right. How long have you wanted to be a voice actor?
How long have I wanted to be a voice actor? Well, prior to becoming a voice actor, I guess the answer would be not long, consciously. I always thought it was cool when I'd watch cartoons and people make voices, and I always made silly voices and enjoyed my voice. But before I was a voice actor, I was singing in a band and playing guitar and doing a lot of on-camera work. And it was through being on set for a film, which I shouldn't name, but it has something to do with, it rhymes with the cast Care Fender. And I was on set for that for about a month because I'm a martial artist and I do stunts and things too. And somebody said, "Hey, you should check out being a voice actor. It's pretty cool. You know, you don't have to get all these early calls and do hair and makeup." And I thought about it. I said, I would actually enjoy doing that. So that was in 2009. I could be lying to you. There must be a caveat. So I will answer the questions. The answers may be lies. So
maybe we should have you.
Maybe
I should go work for Wired, get you on there, and hook you up to their lie detector. Then
Exactly.
we'd have then I'd just ask the exact same questions and
True,
see what
true.
happens. I mean,
so, no, he's lied. He hasn't even told us his actual name. That was a lie. We've determined that to be a lie. So, but yeah, that was pretty much my entryway into voice acting. And I went to check it out, and because my brain clings on to things and dives in 300% when I find something that interests me.
Yes.
Yep. So that just went by. I started in November of 2009, and that was just. I think Casting Call Club was still a thing, and there were a couple other.
I use it actually. I use Casting Call Club for stuff. It's
yeah, I think it was around then, and there was a couple other sort of freebie websites and some of the online voice marketplaces.
Yeah.
And I said, I can do this. I've had vocal training, I've had acting training. I'm a thespian, so I said, this shouldn't be too difficult.
Yes, Thespians Club Unite.
That's right.
Indeed.
And then by May of 2010, I had gone full time. So I left my little corporate management job, middle management, and gone full-time voice acting. So somehow it took off, and I tricked enough people into believing that I knew what I was doing. And
I mean, that's all it takes,
never
you know.
looked back. I've been a full-time voice talent since May 2010. So
that's pretty cool.
It's been a while. That makes me feel old.
That's
Man.
that's.
I started when I was 9,
and I just kept going. That would make me feel better. No, I didn't. But
I think
yeah,
I
so
was
that's
that
kind of the
age
story.
in
In
2000. No, in
2010.
2010 I was 5, actually.
Wow.
I was 5. I'm 18 now, so.
Yes. 18.
Great,
Virtually a
great age.
full-fledged adult, ready to
Yeah.
be burdened with responsibility and crushing debt. Yeah, that's yeah, yeah.
I take a
Adulthood.
shaky breath, a shaky, scared breath at the thought
Yeah,
of
that is
school debt.
well breathed. I have the brain of my mentality is that of maybe a 16-year-old. Maybe. I think that's about where I stopped developing
Mine's
intellectually. Right around
around the
age
same
16.
age, I think.
Hmm.
Mine's right about there. I mean, I started maybe when I was in like 5th grade because I was reading college books at 5th grade. So I think that's about when I stopped. I peaked in 5th grade and I just stayed the same through high
That's
school.
right. See, some people think that if you peak early, it's all downhill, but no,
No,
it's a
no.
longer time to stay at the
Yes,
top.
it is
Really.
it becomes a very, very straight roller coaster.
That's right. A very
Yeah.
boring, predictable roller coaster. So,
Exactly,
yeah,
exactly.
the kind that I like. I am not a roller coaster fan. I am not a real thrill seeker. Contrary to the things you may have heard. Um, so yeah, definitely this nice straight roller coaster. You can see what's coming. You know where you've been. You know where you're going. Goes about 2 miles an hour, so I don't spill my popcorn and my ice cream cone.
Exactly.
Yeah,
You just
yeah.
gotta watch out for the sudden drops or even the rises. There are rises there that could
True. That's true.
make your hat fall off. You know.
That's right. That's
Gotta
right.
keep that
If
on.
you lose
Gotta
the
keep that
hat and you
on.
expose the brain, no one knows what could happen. So,
Yeah. All right. Our next question on this interview is when you were younger or
mhm.
around 2009 when you started into voice
When I was
acting
57 in 2009,
when who was your inspiration? Who did you look into in this field, in voice acting or in
mm,
acting in general? Who did you look at and say, I want to be like them?
I'm a weird kid in that I took inspiration from a lot of classic voice talent, but I never imagined being them. Like I liked, Mel Blanc and June Foray, the classic Warner Brothers, Looney Tunes stuff that I grew up with. Um, and just being a kid and you watch this stuff and like I can do those voices and you it's not even a conscious effort to say I want to be like them or do that. It's just an extension of an enjoyment of what those voice talent did in the cartoons that I was watching.
Mm-hmm.
So I was always trying to emulate what I watched. I mean, like most of us do, when we're listening to something, be it music or even in other genres or other media. So, like the way something looks, like if we're seeing something in a cartoon or a manga or something, you work on drawing it, or so that's how I started. So I guess I'd say, yeah, people like Mel Blanc and June Foray, who were some of the early pioneers of voice work that still
Yeah.
entertain me when I watch that now. Um, I think Tony J was a favorite for a long time. Um, who I believe he died in maybe 2007 or something, but he just had such a rich, distinct voice. I mean, he was Frollo, Hunchback of Notre Dame. He was in a ton of video games
Oh, okay,
in
yeah.
the 90s that you'd hear his voice, and it's just this rich, resonant, commanding voice. Usually, he was a villain for obvious
Yeah.
reasons.
Frollo
And
gave
I
me the
always
voice in
loved it.
my head. Now I know who
Oh
you're
yeah,
talking about.
that's right. So that's Tony. And I mean, come on, Hellfire, one of the best Disney villain songs.
Yeah, it's up there.
Um,
I think I see a lot of lists that put Hellfire in first, and I'm like, it's not first for me. I think Be
Mhm.
Prepared takes the cake for me, and I'd put
I can
Hellfire in
support
like
that.
second or third, because I
Well,
think
I just
that
call it
yeah,
it's one of the best because
it
if
is,
once we
it
get into
is,
seriously tiered ranking, then it's saying, well, it's all subjective.
yeah.
But it's certainly one of the best. The arrangement is fantastic. I mean,
I
Tony
do.
J, his vocal quality is great.
Yeah, I loved Hunchback when I was a kid. It's and the voice
Mhm.
acting in it is really good, and I do love
Sure.
his voice. I can see why he had a cast type for villains.
Hmm.
It
Hey,
totally
when it
makes
works.
sense, but I mean it works. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So that those would probably be those are the names that come to mind. I mean, there's a lot of contemporaries now,
Yeah.
not only from things I've watched, but people I've worked with that continue to push me and inspire me, and especially from the folks who have great technical skill, which in terms of voice acting, the primary component of it is to be able to embody a character and make it so that the audience believes it for whatever way it is, whether it's high comedy, satire, drama, a monster, whatever. That it's just there's no question that this is the character that you are seeing or listening to.
Mhm.
So the acting component is what's most critical, but there's also, as an actor, the technical components impress me as well because there are things that I can appreciate based on the skill of the talent. So either those that have a million dialects and accents in their tool belt, or those that can make just some of the craziest voices and sustain them
Yeah.
in a healthy way. Because some people do some crazy stuff. Like I sang in a rock/metal band, and learning how to use your voice without
Without
damaging it
damaging it, yeah.
is that's part of the party. So being able to do that in the context of voice acting as well always great.
Yeah,
From
like
monsters or really high pitched stuff or just crazy range that people can have.
one voice that
Awesome.
comes to mind with the whole keeping your voice from hurting kind of thing. Uh uh Alex Brightman in
Mhm.
Beetlejuice.
Sure.
He has this rasp that he uses for the entire thing, and it sounds like it would be a struggle to do that all the time, but he does it so well. He regulates it really
Mhm.
well, and I don't know how people do stuff like that. I know there's a way that you can train it where you won't hurt your voice, and I
Right.
don't know, but
Well,
it's
it's an
cool.
instrument. I mean, voice is an instrument, and
Yeah.
it's an instrument that's part of a bigger whole. So it's one of the reasons why I try to generally keep my body healthy, because my voice is my livelihood, obviously, and also I don't necessarily want to die, so I try to stay healthy. So
That's
that kind of
very
all works out,
fair.
right?
It kind of there.
Yeah.
It's a mutual. It's a symbiotic relationship. Uh,
Supports a lot of positive outcomes by doing those things. So I generally try to be kind to my body. Um, in most ways, not all the time, not always successful, but generally
yeah.
speaking, that helps to support my voice and my vocal ability as a talent and as a singer. I still sing on occasion,
Yeah.
um, so that it just stays healthy.
Yeah. Um. Whoa. Mind blank. My brain is exposing. It's opening
Uh-oh.
up, and I don't.
You see it. We can see.
Can you see it in there somewhere?
That's right. Look at that cerebral tissue. It's you.
But yeah, I mean it's definitely the voice. Like I also sing. I am going to a 80s themed fundraiser tonight, and I'm
Oh,
singing
that's fun.
Tainted Love by Soft Cell.
Nice.
My voice has a very deep register now. I have a really hard time getting high notes and stuff, which isn't good when I'm in musical theater as like one of my biggest
Mhm.
things. But
Sure.
I mean, because I'm like the deepest bass in my choir class, and like it's just, I don't know, but I like that I can still hit notes like that. It just takes some getting into
little
it, you
coaxing.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, effectively warming up is important, as well as regular strengthening exercises to work your range, to keep your range as full as possible. So I remember when I first started taking vocal lessons for singing, my vocal coach was impressed with my range. He says, "Wow, you have a really incredible range." And, you're like, "Oh, I do. I don't know," because I didn't really know technically
Yeah.
at that point in time. And so that helps to. I mean, genetics are part of it, but also the work that you put into building and understanding the instrument. So that translates as well for me to voice acting, because it gives me a much broader palette to use in character creation. Like, this is my normal voice. This is when I normally speak. This is generally what I sound like. I'm surprised it doesn't sound like the lizard man that's inside the human skin that I'm presenting to you, but I've practiced, see? So now I sound generally human.
Yeah. Yeah, it helps.
That I'm very impressed. Oh, there we go. But,
Gotta
but
watch out, gotta watch out. Don't want the
that's
government
right.
watching
That's
this
right.
YouTube video.
They'll be coming looking for me, wanting all of my secrets. But yeah, what were, see, now I'm having a brain exposure moment. We're talking about something related to that. I don't know. All I can think about is pizza. We're going out for pizza. So
I mean, that is a very fair thing to think about. I had pizza for lunch, so
yes.
It's
See,
where you going?
I live in the desert.
Where are you
I'm in the
going though?
Sonoran
There's
Desert.
only a few. There's only a few acceptable
Well, here
answers.
it's a little mom and pop Italian restaurant that's in a very tiny, small southwestern town. So it's always hit or miss. But this place actually is really good pizza. And being a guy that grew up on the East Coast, who's used to Philly, New Jersey, New York, like what I consider real pizza for me, it's difficult to have that experience in the middle of the desert, especially in a small town. So I'm kind of excited that this place makes pretty decent pizza. And so everything I say is punctuated with nice, huge slice of pizza in my mind. I'm easily distracted.
Maybe that's what my brain looks like, is just a big pizza. I mean, we can't see it, We can't see it.
That's true.
We don't know.
We can't disprove this.
You can't disprove it unless I ever have open brain
Not without
surgery.
a cranial bone saw. I mean,
I mean,
all things are possible.
All lizard people have those, don't they?
Well, it's
I feel
standard
like
issue equipment.
Yeah, exactly.
That with our government conspiracy control book. It's all.
You gotta make sure. Hey, I'd look out your window and make sure there aren't any pigeons watching you. Those are the government drones spying.
Oh, I know
it.
I know it.
Yeah.
They're always here. They're always here.
Gotta watch out for those for sure.
Oh, I know.
All right. Since we both had a brain fart and forgot what we were talking about, I think the best choice would be to move on to the next question.
Spare the people.
Spare the
and
people.
We'll simply,
Next question.
All right. My question for you is, what character, out of any character you've played in anything voice acting related, or if you were ever in musical theater or anything like that, who was your favorite? Who was the most fun to play, and who was your favorite? It could be two different answers, or they could be one and the same. But
I think it's two different answers. I think far and wide, my runaway favorite is the Ink Demon, which is the reason being because he's so beloved the world round. Because he's very popular, people like him, but it's also in terms of the character. The Ink Demon, especially as the way that I approached him and in the game, he's not just a full throttle, everything on 11 heinous villain.
Yeah.
The Ink Demon is very passionate about what his purpose is in that case, even as it's revealed and developed through the canon of the game storyline. And I know there was a bit of a kerfluffle when I revealed that, yeah, the ink demon's a little flirty in some regard. There's a bit of sensuality to the approach of the villain in this case, in the sense of when you think of something like the classic portrayals of vampire Dracula, right? So he wasn't just this blah blah, this. In some cases he was, but there was always an element
there was some blah,
of
blah,
romance
blah.
to it, right? This. Oh, it's kind of, and I'm not necessarily referring to vampires that glitter in the sunlight, but in more classic interpretations of not just being a villain, but there's this sort of dangerous temptation lurking within it. So I always approached the ink demon with a bit of that subtext of him wanting a connection, particularly with Audrey.
Yeah.
And being able to, the connection, it's a very bad relationship. That's not healthy. But being able to entreat her that way. So that was one of the fun things about his portrayal, and then feeling betrayed by her.
I think.
And
oh, sorry. I was gonna
No,
say
go ahead.
I think an interesting thing about the Ink Demon and Audrey's relationship is the fact that I'm sure that from the very beginning, the first words he spoke to her, he knew who she was. Like,
Sure.
he knew she was the daughter of Drew, that she was born from the ink the same as him. She knew they were the same, basically. And
Right.
I just feel like it created this opportunity for him to be such a attached character to someone he had technically just met, but from his initial voice lines, there's this feeling in the voice almost like he is familiar with Audrey.
Sure. Yeah, I absolutely support that. And his initial interactions are more along the lines of attempting to entice her to see his point of view, his perspective of everything.
No matter how crazy that
him.
might be.
Right, that's right. So it's a seduction in the sense that when he first interacts with her, really the first third of his interactions with her are more of sort of the seduction of her to try to lower her defenses and coil around her brain so that she can be closer to him. And of course, you would really need to dive into intent and intention with the writers and Joey Drew Studios and the Meatly, and to understand really, well, what did you think about this? But this was what I brought into it from my own interpretation as a talent. And, working with Lauren's fantastic direction, pulling all of it together to make it work. So that's what brought that particular dimension to it. But yeah, the Ink Demon, definitely one of my favorites because he's a character that has great love on the interwebs and is a lot of fun to play. Yeah. And the only other character I could think of that's as much fun to play, I've actually sort of split into two characters. I was doing several years ago, we were doing every time there was a new, and it happened maybe every 2 weeks or so, for what was it for? I'm trying to think of the name of the game. Now I'm blanking again.
I had a list of stuff that you've done.
Dead in the title, I forget. But I rehashed this character for a new game called Outrage that I just actually tracked this last week. We finished the sessions for that. At least all the trailer work. Who is just an app. So it's sort of the opposite end. So we have the Ink Demon, who's this sort of measured, intentional monstrosity. Then in the game Outrage, it's essentially a guy who's an American pro wrestler, basically modeled after Hulk Hogan and Randy Macho Man Savage, like the wrestling stars of the late 80s, like just the big guys who are just over the top, way too big. Everything is shouted, and it sounds like their lungs are about to fall out of their body, and that stuff is fun for me. So
Especially
Or they're
with
just
that ability to not destroy your voice in scenarios
right.
like that.
Oh, and believe me, after that session, after the last session, I said, all right, I'm gonna take the rest of the day off. You're sweat, the veins are bulgy. But it's that, for people that were familiar with that era of wrestling, that macho, and they still do it.
Your brain is glowing under your head.
this, and everything's in your face, brother, and he's telling you this thing, and then he's gotta come and cut him off and say, "Oh yeah, ooh," that kind of stuff. I feel like he's just gonna black out when he's talking, and you're
His
saying,
brain is
okay.
glowing out from under your hat.
Exactly, and every vein and muscle is bulging in his body.
That's great.
So that kind of stuff I get a kick out of too. So anytime I get to do that, or just weird monsters or demons or goblins, where you get to play.
That seems like a lot of fun.
Yeah, well, that's, as a voice talent, in particular with character voice acting, not so much in the commercial work that I do, but when you're coming into character work, so you're doing animation and video games, if you can't come to the table ready to play and ready to say, I'm going to make a complete fool of myself if I have to, and be willing to do it, then it may not be the right gig for you, because there's a lot of, you have to leave all of that at the door and just be ready to give whatever you need to give, and then let it flow forth. So that's an important skill. I mean, with any actor, it doesn't matter what you're doing in terms of whether you're a stage actor, you're on camera, you're doing voice acting, all of these things, you need to be willing to play and to have fun doing it, hopefully, to make it work. But yeah, there's your voice acting tip.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a gig that takes a lot of passion, and you have to, if you don't allow yourself to have fun with it, then like I think you're doing it wrong, honestly.
Yeah.
I
well, it's a
mean,
question of, why are you doing it?
or
If you don't
why,
enjoy it and you don't have fun, then
why?
Our lives are too short to spend our time mired with things that we don't enjoy or that aren't rewarding for us constantly. Unless, sometimes there are things we have to do that don't fall on the enjoyable end of the spectrum, but we also want to be able to fill our lives with things that we do enjoy, that fulfill us and are rewarding for us and have great positive effects in our lives. So fortunately for me, voice acting is one of them. So that I get to do it.
That's the thing.
Guy.
That's the thing you can rub in my face, like I rub the hair in your face.
That's true. I have to find a way to tangibly represent it so I can.
Yeah.
Oh, look at this.
I mean, if you have an Ink Demon plushie on you, that would definitely.
I have the old toy actually hanging on the wall in the studio over there.
Oh, nice.
And I was thinking about looking at some of the new
the YouTube's figures. Yeah, I just bought the Ink Demon one, actually. I pre-ordered it. It's on the way.
I think in December. I'm gonna have to as well.
The YouTube's takes forever to ship things out. Like, they'll come onto pre-order and then in May, and then say not shipping until December, and I'm like, but why? I mean,
well, they probably are still manufacturing them, so they'll take the pre-orders, use some of the pre-order capital actually to get the first run done,
and get an estimate of how many they need to make.
Yep. So it's all business.
I hate to do this, but I got to run for just a quick second.
Sure.
I will.
No worries. I will entertain everyone.
Yes. Let me zoom it into your face, and I will be back in just a moment, I promise.
No worries. Now that I've taken over the stream, let's get serious. All right. So he'll probably ask, what did we do? Don't tell him. What we'll do is we'll invite in the Ink Demon. And he'll say, hey, did you guys invite the Ink Demon in? Tell him no. I was never here. So So that's what we'll tell him, right? So this is just our secret. Don't say, we will say nothing to anyone. No one knows. Tell them nothing. Nothing. What happened? Nothing. We were just talking about bottle caps and paper clips. Paper clips are nice, aren't they? Just the clip or the paper. Yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna carry this whole thing right now. So, for those of you just joining us, we're here with Sean Crisden, and he's a voice actor. So, Sean Crisden, can you tell us how you act with your voice?
Yeah. I just do a bunch of characters and like make them a thing.
That's really interesting.
I know, right? Like I just come in and then they say, "Can you do a character voice?" And I say, "Sure."
Wow, that's quite a skill.
Yeah, I mean, I've been working on it, making it better. So like they'll say, "Can you be like an eggplant?"
No way.
Yeah, and I'll say, "Sure, watch this." "Hi, I'm an eggplant."
That is uncanny.
Yeah, I've been working on it. Thank you. And then they may come and say, "Can that eggplant be from Yugoslavia?" And I'll say, "Sure."
So what would you do in the case of the eggplant being from Yugoslavia?
Well, I would approach it this way. "Hi, I'm an eggplant from Yugoslavia."
Wow. Wow, that is... Wow, I can see why he is so famous. Okay, and we're back.
I hope you
Nothing
didn't have
happened
too
here.
much
There's
fun
nothing
without
you'll
me.
have any need to edit out.
Nothing
or
about
anything like that.
Yugoslavia.
What? That's just crazy talk.
Yeah. No, of course.
Right. So here we are. Where were we?
All right. I believe I can't wait to watch this video back and see what you were talking about.
You really shouldn't.
No.
We,
Should
the
I
audience
just
and
post the
kinda
whole
have
thing
you here.
unedited or what?
I think you should. There's an agreement we had.
You know
We
what?
agreed not to bring it up.
I will genuinely avoid this part. I will actually avoid it in
I really
editing
would,
and skip it.
Yeah.
I think I'll just leave this part in completely unedited. I'll just
think you
skip
should.
past
That
it.
would-
Let me see. We're 37 minutes in. I'll skip to right now and skip past when I left for the bathroom. I
like
will
that,
wait
see?
until it's premiering and watch it live on my own channel.
You watching it live. Why?
Why'd he tell everyone to unsubscribe?
Unsmash that subscribe button.
No. Okay.
Right. Okay. So
Back on the roller coaster. There
Very
was
slow,
some
straight roller
technical
coaster.
difficulties on the roller coaster, and we got out to take a few pictures, and now we're back on. Okay. My next question for you, which you kind of answered with the role you talked about having the most fun with in the last question, but where can the people watching, the lovely people watching this video, hello people, where can they see you besides Bendy? Like, where would they find you? I've looked up some of the roles. I know where to find you, but I
I'm so
want
sorry.
them to hear it from you.
I'm sorry that you had to be exposed to that. Well, there's we have. Well, you can see me right now, so now they can be exposed to this. And if they're foolish
Yeah.
enough to want more, video game wise, what do we have? There's the whole Kingdom Rush series for anyone who's familiar with that. Iron Marines, Shadowgun. I'm most of the voices in all of those games. Neverwinter Online. I do a ton of voices for that. Star Trek Online. Magic the Gathering. Shin Megami Tensei 5. For the Shin Megami Tensei and Persona fans. I did a G.I. Joe game where I play Storm Shadow, Tomax, and Zaymot.
Sounds fun.
Call of Duty Mobile.
Ooh.
Call of Duty Mobile, I was Samael, a Russian sniper. Samael. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I am a bunch of characters in that. But that's not out yet, so at least I don't think that was released yet. No. Outer Worlds, Blightbound. What else? Wasteland 3. I'm trying to think of all the games that I think of recently. But if it's not video games, then in terms of animation, I've done a bunch of episodes of American Dad.
Yeah, I saw that. I thought that was interesting.
So much fun.
Don't tell them who you are. I want my viewers to
Oh no,
find
no,
you.
they'll have to figure it out.
They'll have to find
Figure
you.
out who I am.
Go search for him in American Dad.
Casa Grandes.
Yeah, I saw that too.
watched
That's
The Loud
pretty
House.
cool.
That spinoff. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Which I think they didn't renew the latest season.
Yeah, I don't think they did either. I think it ended.
I'm a curse. And upcoming is. Can I talk about it? I'm not even sure if I can talk about it. So don't tell anybody you heard it here. I don't think I signed an NDA. I might have, but there is a.
I'll cut it out just in case, but you can say it, and then message me later if you.
It should be okay. I don't think it's because I think most of the cast is being released now because I think it's actually going to be out in the fall in September. Looney Tunes Looniversity.
Ooh.
I'm a couple characters in that too.
I'll have to search for you. Is that a TV show or?
Yeah, it'll be a TV show.
Nice.
No, not Looney Tunes, Tiny Toons Looniversity.
Tiny.
I know what I'm doing. I know the stuff I do. Sure, keep track of it.
Tiny
that
Toons
and then
University.
a lot of people know me from my audiobook narration work. I've narrated over 500 audiobooks for people that like audiobooks. A lot of those are some fantasy, a little bit of horror. I want more horror. Majority of it is either nonfiction or spicy romance. So there's a ton of that's out and about. Everything I do is under my name, so if you search for me, you can find me. I always talk about in all of my interviews, and anytime you hear me talking about me, I guess, I talk about how I have a social media aversion, and you'll rarely see me on social media. I finally caved and started a TikTok.
Ooh.
So,
oh yeah, I saw that actually. I saw that the other day.
Search for my name on TikTok, and I am posting currently a video a day. I'm so sorry.
That's terrifying. I guess I found it on the first day then, because there was only one video when I found it.
Yeah. You must have. You were there.
I followed right away too. I followed right away.
Awesome. I'm so sorry. You have my deepest
I'll have
apologies.
to check it out now because it's been like a week, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think I'm 5 days in, so it's 5 videos.
Yeah,
up.
so yeah.
And I do
I'll
have
to
some
check it out.
some bendy content
Ooh.
as well.
I shall have to check that out. Any rubber duckies in sight?
There maybe could be. I mean, Ducky and Quackers are always at the ready.
Duckies,
so.
Ducky and Quackers. I love that.
With their powers combined, they become Ducky McQuackers. Yeah, I said, all right, fine, I'll do it. So yeah, check out my TikTok. Give me a follow on TikTok. Is that what they say? Is that what you should say?
Yeah,
be sure to follow me on TikTok.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I have no idea what I'm doing, but
I don't
ranting.
use TikTok. I only get it to look at funny videos. I don't really make videos.
Right.
If I'll make like the odd like singing video or something, you know. But
I'll have to check out some of your singing videos.
That looks better actually. I got rid of the light to my left. I think I look more even now.
Evenly toned.
Exactly. You still see the reflection. That's this right here, guys, in my glasses. That is the questions I'm asking. You are seeing the questions list in my eyes. So you can, if any of you sleuths wanna zoom into my eyeball and see the list of questions early, you can do that. I won't stop you. I can't. But yeah, I am I never really watched Looney Tunes stuff, but I'll definitely have to search for your voice in the show when it comes out
Yeah,
later in the fall.
played a couple characters in that there. Yeah, I enjoy animation. Um, I haven't done as much of it as I would like to, because usually I'm booked with all the audiobook work, because that's probably 70% of my work. But
I was doing some deep internet search into things that you've been in before. And I found this one thing, and I can't, and
we don't talk about that.
I think it was like a school project film or something, about a
Could have been.
vampire hunter. It was some kind of vampire hunter thing.
Just the Vampire Hunter. That was actually
yeah.
it was a personal project, an indie film from a good friend of mine, who's actually a fantastic cinematographer now. He's also a voice talent, does some awesome stuff, and just wanted, do stunts, do martial arts, yeah. So come in and do some of the stuff in the film for him. So that was fun. I haven't done on-camera work in. It's been a minute, because voice work is so much easier. I don't have to really. I fly back and forth between here and LA sometimes, but it's rare now. I mean, I work out of my own studio. I can get up and do my thing.
I need
Everybody
to turn my
dials in
closet
remotely.
into a studio.
Hey, whatever works, right?
Yeah. The clothes will provide some soundproof cushions.
And
hide
a
in
fancy
between
cardigan,
it.
should you need it.
Yes, indeed. Get into character. Exactly.
That's right. See? Serendipity.
That is the goal. The voice acting goal.
Yes.
Yeah. This is backtracking a little bit towards Bendy again, but
Right.
I wanted to ask this. This is I worded this weirdly, I feel like, but I wanted to ask, like, do you think that the Ink Demon is, like, your big role? Like, that it is your associated name role kind of thing, the thing that most people would associate you with? Because I feel like you have been in a lot of other stuff, and you have a lot of other characters that you play, but I mean, the Bendy fandom is undeniably massive.
Sure. I mean,
And
that absolutely. I mean, because of the size of the fandom, like most people, it's probably split between, yeah, we know him as the Ink Demon, or yeah, we know him as an audiobook narrator.
yeah.
So, where a lot of the other characters in a lot of the other games, some of them were pretty popular, but nothing matches the fervor and intensity of the Bendy fandom. The Bendy fandom is amazing, and it's huge, and it's very interactive. And so I think, yeah, probably the Ink Demon. I mean, it depends on what you're a fan of, though.
Yeah.
Then there's that other portion of my fandom that are the audiobook fans who are like, Sean Crisden is the Ink what? And who, that have never heard
It
of
also
it.
depends what the future holds as well, because there could be another voice that rolls around for you that's like, this is that role,
Sure, yeah. I mean, at this present moment, yeah, I'd say most people who are fans of my character voice acting in gaming and animation would know me as the Ink Demon. So I think that's an accurate assessment.
I'll have to check out your audiobooks sometime. I'm not really...
They are plentiful and numerous.
I'm not really big on audiobooks. I usually like to read it for my own so I can give characters voices in my head and stuff.
Yeah, sure.
But, I mean, I'll check some out for sure.
Sure. Well, see, that's the advantage, is I get to read it on my own and give characters voices.
Yeah.
For real. Yeah, see, that's the fun part.
Imprint your ideals onto hundreds of thousands of people.
Yeah, well, that's the fun thing about audiobooks. As an audiobook narrator, when you're in that role, is that you essentially become the entire production. So you are, because I haven't had a directed audiobook by another director in over a decade. No, that's not true. We had one relatively recently where there was a short one. It was a multicast book, so a director came in.
Yeah.
But the books that I do, where I am the sole narrator, I then don the mantle of the narrator, so the story's voice itself, plus all of the characters in the story. In addition to that, you sort of become the scenery. You become the Foley. You become every element of it to paint the picture of the entire story for the listener. So it's a huge responsibility to be that type of storyteller and to voice act in that way, and it's a lot of fun. So I think that's what keeps me coming back to audiobook work as well.
Yeah.
That it's a different take on voice acting. It's sort of the marathon of voice acting where you go in for the character work and all right, 2 hours for the session, you take a break and you're done, or you get a couple sessions, maybe 4 hours at the most. Where for an audiobook, you are kind of married to this world and are now interpreting it for the listener in its entirety for 12 hours, 15 hours, however long the audiobook is.
Yeah.
Which is usually twice that time at least that you're spending in the booth.
In the booth recording.
Yeah.
I feel like it does seem like a lot of fun to do audiobook work. I mean, I might try and do something like that at some point. I'm not really sure where things are gonna go for me, but I tried to do a character audiobook for my published novel because I have a published novel, and
oh, awesome.
Yeah, and I had tried I used Casting Call Club to try and get some voicing for that, but it didn't end up working out fully, but it was still cool to plan it out, and I mean, it's different than being one of the voices in it, but it's an interesting process for sure.
It is. It's very long and involved.
I might have to send you my book.
I was actually going to ask you to pop a link. So
I will definitely do that. It's a very quick synopsis. It is a middle school kind of read about Irish pirates traveling to a magical island that rises above the sea only once every 100 years to try and get the treasure.
Wow. So would you call them Pirish?
Pirish? I mean, whatever floats the ship, right?
I like it. Yeah. Shoot.
I'll have to send you a link
perfect
for
promo opportunity for you.
Yeah, I mean,
look at the book down below. Right. So let's. I'd love to check it out.
I think that would be awesome. I'll definitely have to send you the link to it for sure.
Awesome.
I
dig it. I dig it.
Yes. Our next question on this interview is, what is your goal for your acting/voice acting career? Would you like to be in mainly video games and animated TV shows? Or would you rather have, also migrate to roles in person, like movies or a TV show, like a live TV show or anything like that?
Good question. Well, I did a lot of the on-camera live work. Most of it was commercial, a couple feature films, a lot of indie films. And I think I've had my fill of that because I am lazy. So it basically comes down to, I'm a voice talent. I do a lot of things to satisfy my need to create. So I don't necessarily have to be a voice talent, but right now the path is very clear for me to continue my career as a voice talent until Skynet becomes self-aware and they take my job. But
it's evident. It'll happen.
It is. Oh, I think especially with each successive iteration of AI generative tools we're seeing, it's definitely changing the landscape more so than some people can admit. It'll be a brief period of time, but things will definitely be changing. But yeah, and I'm shifting more towards animation and video games now, because that's, if I had to choose what niche of voice acting I would do, I think that's where I have the most fun. even though the bulk of my work is long form narration, audiobooks, and commercials. So I'm shifting to that so I can have more fun. So that's where I'm mainly interested right now. And it may change. My opinions are organic, so they change as with time. And I always say, oh, they're available for a limited time with the option to renew. My opinions. So, but that's what I'm looking at right now. So hopefully, I will continue that transition as I go.
Yeah. I can definitely see the appeal of voice acting in video games. It seems like a lot of fun because I feel like I can get, doing audiobooks and doing like commercials and stuff. But I feel like video games has that more of a wonder effect to it to me, because with a commercial, I mean, it is just you're promoting a product, a generally scripted thing, and sure, a lot of people see it, but it doesn't have that response, I feel like, that you get from being in a video game. Because the bendy thing, it's still a prominent resonating thing, it's a big thing that a lot of people know and a lot of people love, and I feel like it's much more impactful than being in something like a commercial or reading an audiobook, because most people won't read an audio or listen to an audiobook more than once, but
sure, some do. I mean, some folks
yeah, some do,
really like them.
Yeah, but I feel like
I'm fortunate. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry, I was just gonna say, I feel like for video games, people play them over and over again if they like it. They don't just most people play through video games quite a few times, get all the details, hear all the secret stuff, and I feel like that gives
100%.
It gives video game voices more of a long-lasting effect, I feel like.
I think that's a fair assessment, but it also depends on what your intention is. My intention is I don't necessarily crave fame or celebrity or attention. I'm more or less an introvert, and I like people to enjoy what I do, but I'm not chasing stardom. If I was chasing stardom, I'd be doing something else. I do this because I enjoy it. And if other people enjoy it, that's all the better for me. There's a satisfaction and validity to being a creative talent and having other people respond to it in any way. I always said that no matter the media that you create in, that art is a language. So it's a language of communication about human thoughts, emotions, and experience. And the worst thing that can happen to an artist is that they create their art and nobody cares. There's just complete apathy, right? So it's not even that they weren't recognized for it. It's just that even the people that saw it, possibly including the artist themselves, there's no response. So that's the worst. That's when an artist has failed, in the sense that not that they don't have 1 million likes or followers, not that kind of response in volume, but the response is, can that communicate a human experience or emotion to another person? Can it make them feel something? So I were a painter or a dancer or an author or a voice talent or a musician, it doesn't matter, and someone saw what I did, or I saw what I did, and I felt nothing, or they felt nothing, and I feel that that is a failure of that piece of art, because art should communicate something. So I don't care if they hate it, I don't care if they love it. I mean, I'd prefer they love it, but it evoked an emotion. So it sparked something. It connected and said something to them that they then saw through their lens of life experience. So that, to me, is what art is and what art should strive to do, no matter what it is. So for me personally, I'm not necessarily looking for superstardom or fame. I'm not a fame chaser. I mean, again, a guy who just now said, I have a TikTok, guys. So it's not even something that's exciting that I strive to. But if people see what I do, on TikTok or in Bandy or one of my audiobooks or whatever, and they're just, then I failed for me
Yeah.
in my creation of art. I want them to either say, I felt something. They don't have to like it, they don't have to hate, but to feel something
Yeah.
from it. And that's what is satisfying for me as an artist, as a creative talent.
That
But
is a very good way to look at it. That's definitely the right mindset to have, especially
well, it
in
saves you a lot of grief.
yeah.
Unless you're looking at your art as a way to financially sustain yourself, then that adds an additional layer of, I have to make sure that not only am I communicating something to an audience, but I need to be able to monetize it. So that's a whole other layer, and we've seen that can actually corrupt and destroy some forms of art into a way where it's simply, I mean, look at how microtransactions have permeated video gaming. And now we have games that are designed solely to basically be casinos and to fulfill that feedback loop. And the whole gameplay loop is just to make you want to spend money on the game rather than to enjoy playing the game and have a wonderful experience in that game world. And it's not necessarily a bad thing, objectively speaking. It's just how things are shifting. But if we're talking about things that promote the art of a video game and what a video game is, either in story, artwork, concept, execution, technical aspects, whatever, then we run into some obstacles in having to layer on top of those things monetization, or with anything, where that's the goal. So it's a challenge. It's a challenge as a creative talent.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely something that is like, I forgot what I was trying to say. I have it still in my brain. It's there, but the words won't translate it. I know what I want
Paint a picture.
to say. I mean, there's already one on my wall, but painted on there. But
there you go.
I don't know. I can't. I have so much I want to say in response to that, and my brain won't say it. But
well, it may be an additional. You may need to ruminate on it and make an additional follow-up vid.
Yeah, so maybe.
I'll
have to rewatch this afterwards and make a.
It'll be like me at 3 a.m. when I wake up and think, I should have said. And it keeps you awake at night in the bed. You're staring at the ceiling, replaying the whole thing. And if only I would have said this thing that I can think of right now that I'm asleep, but not in the moment. Right.
Yeah.
I know.
That's exactly what I have right now, is like, not the I should have said this, because I don't know still what I wanted to say, but it's that feeling of there's something I could say, but I don't know what it is.
In its place, we offer you banana. Just do something, go with it, say it convincingly. That's politics for you.
I mean, yeah, that's pretty much it.
That's right. My job as the interviewee is to simply confound you so that you have no idea what the questions are. We're totally off track, and it's a mess.
Yeah, your goal is to make me slip up. That's what it is. I mean, gotta test my integrity.
That's right. That's right.
Gotta see if it's a channel that you'd want to come back on in the future.
That's right.
That's the goal. Make them want to come back someday.
That's right.
Know?
That's right.
I don't know if I've given that impression yet, or if I'm still working for it, but I mean,
as I understand it, you had to leave early in the interview so that you could gather your wits about you, and then come back. You grilled me with hardball questions. I I see this now.
That's definitely what it was. Yeah,
Mhm.
I did not forget to use
Yeah.
the I did not forget to use the bathroom ahead of time. That's not what happened.
You did not come back with toilet paper hanging out of your pants. I understand.
No, not at all. No, not one bit.
Mm, mm. I will never be invited back.
I hope this has been
Just-
a welcoming environment. I hope this has been fun so far.
Well, I've been trying to pretend, but I don't know. It's pretty rough.
It's
It's
very
great.
rough.
Definitely one of the hardest interviews I've ever given. I'm going to persevere, though. I'll make it. I'll make it. I'm a trooper.
Yes, yes, indeed.
Hmm.
Shall we move on to the next question?
Surely we shall.
I'm going to skip the one that was next because you answered it in the beginning of the interview, saying that in 2009 you quit your boring office management job to become a full-time voice actor. So that question is no longer required.
Yes. See
You
that?
are
Now that's
ahead of
efficiency,
the
isn't it?
game. You killed two birds
When you
with
got
one
it, you
stone.
got it.
Exactly. Alright, next question on the list would be, do you have a favorite video game, TV show, and movie?
Yes. Favorite video game is probably a tie between the original Phantasy Star on the Sega Master System or the original Final Fantasy VII from PS1, which I took off from work to play. And my first playthrough of Final Fantasy VII was 36 hours straight.
Dang.
That was only beaten by my first time playing EverQuest, the first EverQuest, where I also took off from work. You see a theme here. And I believe I got just shy of 40 hours straight before I pretty much collapsed.
That's crazy.
Yeah, problematic. Definitely an addictive personality for games that I enjoy. But
think
those
I
are
might-
probably my favorite games.
I think I might have played Dark Revival for that long at one point.
That's impressive.
I have friends who do that regularly.
I can't do it anymore. And now that, I have a family and these responsibilities, but
What even are those?
I don't know. Well, right now, my wife and I have been playing 7 Days to Die.
Ooh, I love that game.
Steam.
Super cool.
We both have about 2,800 hours in the game. Now, we've been playing it for almost 10 years, so that's it's impressive, but it's not as impressive as, for some newer game times. But that's a lot. That's like 3 straight months nonstop of just playing one game that's still in pre-release alpha, hasn't been finished. Probably
10 years later.
Yeah, but I think that's the game I have put the most time in recently, obviously. But then what else? TV shows? I don't really watch much TV, so everything that I would say would be a favorite is old. So, Arrested Development, IT Crowd, and probably 30 Rock. I'm a big smart comedy fan when it's well written and very shrewd, and rewards multiple viewings to get the subtlety and the layers of jokes that you might have missed the first time through. So those were definitely a bunch of favorites. Favorite movie? Aliens. Probably my favorite. Badass female protagonist, awesome aliens, ridiculous dialogue. I mean, some of James Cameron's typical world building, but I like the whole Alien franchise, but Aliens just hit the.
I mean, anything with Sigourney Weaver's a win, so.
Absolutely. I mean, Sigourney Weaver's amazing. So
incredible.
Now. Yeah.
Anything
I'm a
that
big
she's
Sigourney
in is
Weaver.
definitely worth watching.
For sure. Ghostbusters, anyone?
Who are you gonna call?
But yeah, she was. No, wait. Rick Moranis was the keymaster at that point, right? She was I'm trying to remember what you say. I'm the key. I'm the key. I forget the dialogue. Oops. But yeah, but those Aliens is probably one of my favorites in terms of all around the film that I love. I've probably watched that film in its entirety 60, 70 times. I can quote the whole movie from beginning to end. I could do a full Sean Crisden one-man show remake of it right now.
Like an audio
And
book of Alien.
absolutely. And it would probably at least be 70% accurate of the dialogue and everything. I love that movie.
I can do that with the How to Train Your Dragon movies. That's my thing. No, look. Toothless is on my arm.
Oh my goodness! Yeah,
ink.
so you are serious. Yeah, I'm missing the boat. I need to
totally serious about How to Train Your Dragon.
I love it. I love it.
Those are my movies.
Yeah, but otherwise I don't really spend much time consuming other media because usually I'm either working or exhausted from working or I want to create or produce something. So I'm then back trying to satisfy my creative urges once I'm done with my work day, which is usually pretty long. But I did go see the Barbie movie last night.
Ooh, I haven't seen it yet. I've heard it's good.
It was absolutely delightful. And because it's smart, it's well written, it's very tongue-in-cheek, it does not take itself seriously at all. However, it tackles some pretty pertinent issues both with Barbie and the current world at large, and it does it in a very amusing, delightful way. I mean, I think I grinned from the very opening sequence to the end credits. It was great. I loved it. It appealed to many parts of me.
I might have to watch it for sure. I mean, I've been wanting to. I just haven't had time to get out of the house.
Yeah, I understand this.
I've heard from friends that it is very good, so I'll have
well recommended. I laughed out loud numerous times, which that's saying something because I'm usually a harsh critic of film.
The only thing I've seen so far from it is the meme that people could hear the Oppenheimer bomb go off during the climax. And the cut scene of Ryan Gosling screaming at the top of his lungs in a high-pitched girly voice. And those are the only things I've seen related to that movie so far. So
good. So a lot has not been ruined.
I'd be going in blind for sure.
That's the way to do it. Just to go and just sit down for the ride. My wife had seen a lot of the scenes, and I typically have the idea that I don't want to see any trailers. I don't want to see any previews because typically there are these really all too revealing book reports of the film, and they reveal too many important moments or elements that anyone reasonably could look at and say, "Oh, now I know they die. Oh, there's the dinosaurs." You know what's going on. So I don't. I try to avoid trailers, previews, and since I'm not that active on social media, I don't really see as many of the memes or people quoting or saying what they like. So I can still have relatively virgin, fresh experiences if I do watch something. So yeah, that's the way I like to. I don't like the spoilers, so I like to be surprised and find unexpected things that happen. So yeah, I liked it though. I think I see why it gets the praise and the hate that it's been getting. I see why people that hate it, and I see why people that like it like it. It's pretty polarizing, I guess, in that way, but I found it to be utterly delightful.
I will definitely have to give it a watch. Well, I suppose that now that we know your favorite video game, TV show, and movie, we can move on to the next question.
I'm ready. I'm here for it.
I'm ready. All right. So this one is a bit of a it's a interesting question. So it is it difficult to do voice acting, voiceover work in your house with a kid? You know, with a kid in your house. Like, have you ever had, like, takes ruined or like lines interrupted or things like that because of your son?
Yes, but it's my fault. The reason being is because I live out in the desert. I'm on a couple acres of desert. My studio is actually a separate building that is just the studio. So I'm very fortunate that I built a studio from the ground up. So
That's
when I have
cool.
takes ruined by my little squirt, it's because I've invited him into the studio, and foolishly, and with all the best of fatherly intentions, now, son, if you can sit here and play quietly, you can stay here while Daddy works, okay? So, Daddy's an idiot because Dad don't never work, man. So,
yeah.
so if it has been ruined, it's because I've invited it. But you know,
I mean, you gotta
never
let the
doing-
vampire in, right?
that's right. And I was a fool. I was
Has
a
to be
fool to
invited
invite him
in.
in. Should have left him at the threshold. But you know, I am at least smart enough not to have him here for ensemble or directed sessions. So if it's just
Mhm.
me, it's fine. I can stop and fix. But if you know I'm on the line with the director or cast members, and we're doing a live read or something, you know. Okay, can't have the screaming child who's Daddy, 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 look at what I built.
Did this is not on the list, but I'm curious about this now. Were there any takes from Dark Revival that he interrupted? I'm just curious about that. I mean, I know it was
no, because-
directed because Lauren was in your
Right.
ear during that,
Yep.
so.
She fits so well in there too. Just pushed her right on in. Yeah, but since it was directed, he wasn't over here, so he wasn't in the studio. So that was avoided. We had a lot of fun, and one of these days, maybe Lauren will pull out some of the outtakes from our session or some of the other sessions.
That would be cool.
I think we should probably put together like a greatest hits outtakes from
yes,
all
like another
that
radio
doctor session.
show, but it's
Right,
It's a
right.
big blooper
Because-
reel. Maybe
you get
someone
me
could do an animatic
in the
of
studio
the
and-
bloopers and...
I start talking and I can't stop, and then we do the take, and then we're talking about it, and then I go off on some tangent somewhere, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm riding our bikes and squirrels, and okay, we're back in character, and then it's
pizza in our
So I'm-
brains.
exactly it's all pizza time, dude. Yeah, it's all just it's a mess, but I know we had some fun stuff because we had the sessions we had. I think we did 2 or 3 sessions to cover all the material in the game, and most of them were just me and Lauren. I think they all might have been. I could be lying to you, like I said earlier.
I mean,
could be
yeah, you
lying.
could be lying.
But we had a great time, you know. So there's lots of giggling that didn't get into the game. You know, nobody wanted to hear the Ink Demon giggling for some reason. You know, so that didn't quite make it. But
There's a portion of the fandom that would enjoy those outtakes.
I think so. Well, I think we're gonna have to put something together.
Yeah,
So we'll have to,
definitely. Maybe
we
this
are talking about
conversation
doing
will
something.
inspire.
This will be the impetus
the-
for an outtake reel that everybody can listen to. And 'cause I
Now that
still
it's been
have-
spoken of, it has to happen. You know.
that's right. We
Now
made it
that
real.
It's going
it's
on
now
the
been
internet.
entered into the universe. So, yeah. In fact, when we're done, I'll ping Lauren
Yes.
and say, "What do you think about doing some outtake stuff?" So we'll see. And now that I've said it, everyone can hold me accountable. They said, "But you said on
But
the interview,
you said
guys
in
were
the
good.
interview,
You said it."
on
Yeah,
the
no,
interview
I
with that guy who's incredible that everyone should follow.
Not me. It wasn't me. I that was
that was
Dude,
that was
AI. It was AI generated.
Yeah,
They
this
cloned
is
my voice.
guys, this
That's
is a
not even
really
me.
good AI software. He's not really there. He has not been
That's
there
right.
this whole time.
I'm not really here. This is Sean Crisden.
I can lag my voice.
Don't
Like,
forget to subscribe.
look, like, hi. Okay. I think we broke him.
I'm real. I'm a human being. I'm not a lizard man in a suit that's actually being generated by AI tools.
I mean, only AI-generated Sean Crisden would talk about being a lizard person.
That's right. So, the real Sean Crisden would never reveal such secrets.
No, never.
Yeah.
Okay, I believe our next question is...
Love it.
Give me more!
Did you know about the Bendy franchise, the Bendy fandom, before auditioning for the role of the Demon of Ink?
I had heard of Bendy. I had never played it, and I didn't know that much about it. I knew there was a game called Bendy and the Ink Machine. But it was, and as a fan of horror games, as it was originally billed, so I was like, oh, that's another one that's on my radar. But I didn't really know. And when I had auditioned for it, and got the callback, and it was Lauren, actually, and she said, well, you should know that the fans for this game and the fandom is very large, and they're very adamant about the game.
That's
I said,
one
oh,
way
okay.
to put it.
Yeah. I mean, I'd been in some other games where I've gone to signings and, gone out and signed stuff and at some cons and things. So I said, okay, yeah, I'm used to. And she said, no. They're really, really invested in the game. I said, great, no problem. I can do it. So I had an inkling of an idea. But then as I started to look up, get it? I thought I could not buy you. But as I began to research more about the game, and then when I was cast as the Ink Demon, I began to then understand.
Only then you truly understood.
Then. That's right. Then I knew, and knowing's half the battle. G.I. Joe. Yeah, so that was when it became a thing where I found out. So I didn't really know.
Realize it would never escape you once you were part of it.
That's right. Once I joined the dark
So how? Who said that?
Who is that?
How?
Bendy?
Yeah. So then that's when it became a thing. But yeah, it was delightful though. So I still try to interact as much as I can, which isn't as often as I like, but I try to respond to every DM. Sometimes it takes a couple days at least, but so that I can share all the love with everybody. So
one of my friends told me that they had messaged you on Twitter once asking about how you do the voice of Bendy, and then accidentally they left you on red for months.
I remember that because I cried every day that they never responded to anything.
I'll send this clip to them.
That's right. Every day.
I can't think of their username right now, but I'll think of it later. I'll find their Discord.
Lots of tears were shed. Just left on red. I just better luck on
locked yourself in the studio.
Exactly. I didn't know how I even went on, but somehow I persevered and made it. Yeah, well, that's a common question of how do you do the Ink Demon voice?
And that actually is one of the very next ones on the list, so.
Yeah, how do you do the Ink Demon voice? Much like we talked about earlier, when you know your instrument, that's half the battle. And you know what you're capable of. A lot of that comes down to an overall principle and an idea of you must relax. We're not going to try to tighten everything up and strain the vocal folds and try to shred our voices to push these things out. It's the same thing with mirror singing. Even if you're into more extreme forms of singing, relaxation is the ultimate friend for these things. Because if you maintain a lot of tension and you keep everything tight, you risk injury. So you have to find, so once you relax and it gets pushed from the diaphragm rather than trying to, squeeze all this stuff, from there. And I'll probably do videos on TikTok about it because I do get asked enough about it. The instructional series.
Because I've self-learned a little bit of how to kind of get close to it. I can't get all of it in there, but there's a specific line I use usually to get into it, which
All right,
is
let's hear it.
I do the
now, do it now, do it,
right.
entertain us.
I shall do it.
Perform.
This realm is thine. You were born from it. You belong to it. I can get a little bit of the
I like the texture. I like
the but
so even relax it because you see how it raises the pitch of that you're basically that you're utilizing. So it's your pitch starts to go higher than even your normal speaking register. So you're going to relax further. So instead of or it's so tight, so take it from here. So it comes down here. So then you are born from it. So you can see. So I don't want to that's usually like if I'm doing a goblin or a monster, some kind of creature that's up here. That's that higher register for it. But you relax it and visualize it shifting down into the chest cavity. So that, this is in musical theater. So that So here, when I breathe it out, it is smooth and easy, but not painful. And then you can add all the extra. I usually the salivary
saliva, yeah.
So then you can get the. So you can let it roll out and gurgle. And some of the ink demon scenes, when we were tracking them, I had a little glass of water, and usually I have something like throat coat tea or something if I have a really long session.
Coat, yeah.
But I'm just covered in just spittle flying everywhere, and just because you really dig into it, but the relaxation element for the ink demon is important because you can't strain everything.
I just am afraid that I can't do that kind of vibration with a relaxed voice. It just doesn't feel. It feels like
the impediment is the. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, I'm just thinking about if I do it kind of loses a bit of that.
So fill the lungs as well, because part of it is you don't want to have to push it out, right? So I'm not gonna. I'm gonna let leak. You let it leak out of you. So that's part of being able to relax as well. So you fill the lungs with and then you can just kind of let the throat begin. And you find the point where it makes that. So here is to right. If I talk like this,
you can do the boss guy who's like this. Here he's got that bit of gravel. Johnson, get in here! Where are those TPS reports?
You got that guy who's like that's.
Was that J. Jonah Jameson?
Give me pictures of Spider-Man!
So you have that guy, and you try to find, in terms of voice acting, placement. So the placement of the voice and what that adds to the texture of a voice as you're performing. So, when you think of a little bit of grit or gravel, or you think of the guy that's here, like
like what David Hayter would do with Snake, Solid Snake. So this is another form of pushing right here in the voice where it just kind of sits.
So you find where those positions are, and for me, it's as visual as much as it is a feeling thing. I imagine where, you know, we talk about head voice when we're singing,
Yeah.
and we talk about if you can sing when you begin to get the nasal cavity to vibrate, and where you're feeling the vibration in your face. So similarly, when you're thinking of this, the entire airway and your air tract from the diaphragm to up through the lungs, up through the larynx, the vocal folds, the vocal cords, into your jaw and mouth work, where your tongue is, where the teeth are, and how I'm producing breath are all equally important. All of those elements support each other. And I mean, you know this, but also for the people who are watching who may not have ever heard of them.
What? Lungs? What?
You know,
Yeah.
so all of these things support your choices for vocal work. I mean, much like if somebody said, "Oh, it's something really high pitched." Oh, like this? No, more like this. You know, let's say, can you make something really high? So where do those things come from, and where do we put them, and how do you get there again? So it's all part of kind of playing with it and experimenting with it. But I think I'll do a series on a step-by-step. The Ink Demon, step by step. You too can sound like the Ink Demon.
You say in a Joey Drew voice.
That's right. You too can be Inky.
You sound like a Texan Joey Drew, and I.
You too can be Inky. So it's the ways that we create these things and create these characters and find them. Maybe that'll be one of my quests on TikTok, will be to do a series on the Ink Demon voice. So I'll try to come up with a way to explain it so that it makes sense.
Let me see. So I think I can kind of get what you're saying. Let me see if I can redo just that same line from before.
Yeah, sure.
It was what, "This realm is mine" is the one that I was using, I think.
This realm is mine.
Kind of like a.
This realm is mine.
I'm hearing it better. This is better because I'm hearing it. It's being supported more by the breath. So it's kind of spilling out of you. Like ink would, am I right? So it's
portals awaken.
You get plenty of air. So fill the lungs. Right? Fill the lungs before each lung.
Dark portals awaken.
So
something kind of more like
practice.
that.
You're in the zone.
I can get there. I can get
it.
I know I can do it. I just need to practice it, you know.
That's right. You practice it, and to be able to and the main cornerstone that's supporting it, that's supporting that arch of it, is relaxation.
Yeah.
So you relax. So even think about the rest of the body. Is relaxing into it. So try to avoid introducing muscular tension that's unnecessary. Much like in any kind of performance, right?
You were born from it.
Plenty of air. Get big lungs full of air.
To it. This realm is mine.
I think I'm getting closer.
Yeah.
I think I'm getting closer
keep
to
those thoughts and keep those ideas in mind.
Yeah.
And it's also, you have to find where it is in your mechanism, in the mechanism that is your entire vocal tract, airway, and body. So you find where it works best for you.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Also-
this is progress.
Yeah.
I like it.
Fun fact, I'm a liar. I don't have water. It is a dry cup.
Oh, everything I know is a lie.
It
The
just
world.
looks better. It's a better image.
I get it. I get it. It's like, yeah, I'm just going to
Drink some
drinking
water.
my
real
water
quick.
here.
Yeah, that's the
Yes.
tastiest, cleanest water you'll ever drink.
It's almost as
That's right.
clear as air.
That's right. Air water, come get yours.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. So
Yes.
there we go.
I think I have just a few more questions for you.
I'm ready.
We are reaching the end, unfortunately. Your road is broken, unfortunately. But
Stay a while and listen.
yes, here at Joey Drew Studios, we're always asking questions.
Pencil and a dream.
Hang in there, Carl. Gotta love Carl. He's my favorite character. That's a question I forgot to ask. Who is your favorite character? Do you have one? Do you have a favorite Bendy character in the franchise?
Probably Porter.
Yeah, that's.
Probably
I think
Porter.
that's what Dave said too. I think Dave also said Porter. Porter.
Most
is...
people would think that we would default to the characters we portray, but Porter's.
Oh, no, actually, I
pretty
think
amusing.
maybe Dave said. I think Dave's response to who's your favorite character was, "Of course, it's my daughter, Audrey." I think that's
Fair
what
enough.
it was. I think that's what he said. But
Oh, that little suck up. Ah.
Porter is a great character. He's so silly. I love him. I like that he doesn't follow Wilson's orders. He doesn't
Right.
follow him. He's his own person, and I like it.
Yep.
I think it's a
I
very
think that's.
cool character.
I feel the same way. That hits the points on. I mean, outside of his just ridiculousness, why I gravitate toward him.
Him and Heidi, they're both their own separated people. Heidi is a bit
Yeah, that's true.
different, but Porter is definitely a very cool character.
For sure.
Yes. Here is the next question. Do you you already said you were thinking about the whole blooper reel thing, but
Mhm.
I was curious, do you plan other than that to make more bendy content such as Big Chungus or Rubber Ducky or the
Yeah,
radio
yeah.
show, you know, things like that?
Oh, when the cast gets together, because everything again we get together and we'll either email or on the love streams and when we have our bright ideas, we come up with stuff to do. So for sure there'll be more stuff, and we'll always take suggestions too. So if the fandom has an idea to say, hey, it'd be great. Like I think the blooper reel is a great idea, so I think that may
Yeah.
be one of the next ones. If I can yank everybody else on board. If not, I'll try to find some of mine because I still have the original audio from the sessions, and I'll try to see if I can pull out some fun things.
Ask Meatley's permission to post your outtakes.
Of course.
Get the man himself to. He
Yeah.
actually
Well, some of them
showed.
are just
My friend was, I don't know if you saw his tweet, how there's a ghost hidden in Dark Revival that nobody's found yet, and people were searching, and my friend Friendly and Dave's server was doing live stream searching, and the Meatley showed up in chat, and we thought that was pretty epic.
He'll poke around every then and again, and
Yeah.
people are surprised when I say I've actually never spoken to the Meatley personally. It's always either through Lauren or every then and again there'll be an email conversation, but never.
Like the Meatley may not even be real.
We don't, we can't disprove it, just like we can't disprove my brain
That's
is
right.
pizza.
That's right. I'm pretty sure your brain is pizza, but
It's entirely
have-
possible.
I
I'm very
have faith.
cheesy.
I have strong faith on this on this matter.
I'm very cheesy, so
Very cheesy. Very
it checks out.
But yeah, so But yeah, we'll come up with stuff to do, and we'll take some suggestions too. So definitely, folks, if there's something you'd like us to do, not saying we will do it, definitely toss some suggestions at us.
Give me some comments, and I'll send them to Sean.
Yeah, hit them up in the comments. and we'll see it.
Yeah.
And we'll know what you want us to do.
I hope that this video does well on my channel, and again, it's like you said earlier, it's not about the views, it's about people seeing it. And for me, when I'm interviewing someone, my thing is I want people to understand the person behind the characters. I want them to see how kind and amazing and awesome the actual people are, And I mean, BendyCast already does that a lot with the love streams. I mean, people get to see you guys in an environment together. But I like just doing these because it gets to show an hour and a half, 2 hours of this person being themselves, and not the character.
We're ridiculous. That's right. And you're totally getting me as a living human being person who is an actual human,
who is not
just
a lizard.
like you, and not a reptilian lizard living in a fire mountain. Not at all. I am a human being. Hello, fellow humans.
Fire mountain. I love that.
Yeah. No, and that's why we do it too, because the fandom's so fun to interact with all the fans. And a lot of times, I remember, when I wanted to interact with something or I was really into it, and I'm like, I can't talk to so and so. I can't go. Or I go to a con, and I can't look at them. And
I feel like this will help. This will help people realize you're
just
people. You're just people.
It's true. We just
playing incredibly intimidating characters.
That's right. I'm not really the ink demon. That was pretty believable. Yeah. It's not me. I don't do that. And they just decided to make a character about me and told me to act human for all the interviews.
No, yeah, you are the ink demon. This is your disguise. Yeah.
That's right. Like this guy. I should have picked a better looking guy, and this silly hat is
No, don't be silly.
The hat is silly.
Well, so is the ink demon, so.
That's true. And I've been enjoying a lot of the fan art.
I mean, rubber duckies and all.
It has a little cowboy hat and rubber duckies.
Yes, I love it.
It's fantastic.
I don't know if
I love it.
I don't know if you saw ever my edits that I did of Wilson the volleyball, where I took Wilson's face and spliced it onto Wilson from Castaway.
I did.
I love that. And
all quality all the way.
And then I did another thing where I took Wilson's head and put it on Elvis Presley and called it Ship Ahoy Elvis, or Ship Ahoy Wilson Presley. It was pretty funny.
I have so much to catch up on though. It's so hard to stay on top of everything too, because sometimes I'll have so many notifications and DMs, and I try to go through them, and then I miss something or I get stuck on another thread and something.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I believe we are on to the last 3 questions.
Dun, dun, dun.
This is
Ready,
unfortunate. This is unfortunate, but also exciting. All right, so the first of the last 3. That's an interesting sentence. The first of the final 3 is: do you have any other big projects on the way? Like any big video games that you're part of behind the scenes, or any? I mean, we know about the Luniversity now that you're part of, the thing that might get you sued for talking about.
It might.
Who knows? Or would it be me? Would it be me, technically? Would it be me that gets ruined?
Well, they would probably pull the episode, but it would
probably
be me.
Pull it, yeah.
Be in breach of contract, but I don't believe there was an NDA for this.
I may bleep it out. I may bleep it out just to be safe.
I'm in. Well, I know that the things right now that would answer that question, I do have NDAs for, so I can't know that because they're still in. Some of them are still in pre-production. I can't talk about it.
Any of them video games? Are you able to answer generally?
Generally, be a video game that people would play as a game video. Was that vague enough? Like,
I think that's vague
there-
enough. Yeah, you hit it
there,
right on
there
the mark.
could be that had a character or two in it that may have voices supplied by a lizard. It's
Sean Crisden as the lizard in Spider-Man 2.
Exactly. He gave us all the clues.
It's the lore. The lore.
Ah. But
Oh,
yeah.
man.
So there are two that I'm in the middle of actually, and one that's it may be happening. I'm not sure if that's happening yet. I'm waiting to hear. But yeah, the industry is as such where there are some things when they're a little bigger, you know, can speaky. So
Yeah.
in about, I don't know, 6 to 8 months, maybe.
We'll see. We'll see.
see.
You'll have to.
Yeah, there are things
whenever-
on fire.
Whatever happens, just send me some links and I'll play some games if there's any games.
We'll
involved.
do.
I'll hunt.
Yep,
I'll hunt your voice.
There may or
down.
may not be a game involved.
I will
or
hunt
two.
your voice down to the ends of the earth.
Yeah, well, people are starting to identify some of the Sean Crisden characters, and I'll get a message. Hey, is this you?
I'm starting my my American Dad binge right after this ends.
Yeah, I did
Pull up the Casa Grandes on
3
Nickelodeon.
episodes of American Dad. So, see if you can figure out the.
Can you
Sean
give me the?
Crisden
Do you
name.
know the season? Can I get that? Because it's a big show. It's a big
I
show.
do. I'll have to look it up. They're in the last 2 seasons.
Okay.
Because they had a big hiatus in the middle of one of them. Because the season numbers get wacky too, because
Yeah.
they're officially versus what you find on like Hulu and TBS, I think is where they are now. So it's within the last 2 seasons.
Okay. I'll
Although
have to-
there may be a new season starting now for the fall season. So but it was the
I find it crazy
2002,
that shows like that are
2003.
still going. It's pretty.
It's
crazy.
amazing. It's amazing. And
I mean, Family
they've-
Guy.
they've-
As far as Family Guy is still running. The Simpsons,
Mm-hmm.
I think, is still going.
still going. I think The Simpsons is currently the longest running animated series.
It
in
is. It
history.
is. I think South
Yeah.
Park is still going, isn't it? Or are they
think
done with
so.
South Park? They might be
I
done with South Park.
I didn't hear it was done, but it could be because I'm out of the loop on so many things.
South
So
Park
I'm not even sure.
It is gonna have another season, yeah.
Somehow they keep cranking it out. So
Yeah.
Right.
My chair is falling. There we go. Okay.
don't fall apart on us.
So this is a question I've asked in all of my interviews, and in the Joey one, the Joey one, the Dave one.
Joey is Dave and Dave is Joey.
Yes. So we could blame Joey, technically.
Like this.
This is our gray area.
That's right. This is the loophole we needed.
Yes.
To...
I've cracked the code, Sean. I've done it.
Mhm.
So
Well
what
done. Well done.
So what happened with Dave's interview is I asked him this question and he gave the answer in Joey's voice. And it was so funny. It was this whole inspirational speech in Joey's voice, and I was like, this is amazing. So you do not have to do it in in the Ink Demon's voice, obviously, but it is a possible for extra points. For extra points,
Sounds like a challenge.
it's a possibility for extra points. Couple hundred extra views on the video.
Mhm.
If you could give everyone watching, however many people watch this, a word of advice, then it doesn't have to be about voice acting or like acting at all. If you had advice for whether they want to voice act or people who want to do something else entirely, just a general word of advice for people to go out and chase their dreams and do things.
Yes, I do. I can't Joey Drew it, but and if you were to ask the ink demon what it would be, if the ink demon cared enough to give you an answer, as if you're sitting and sipping tea or ink with the ink demon, and
Bacon soup.
it would obviously, well, bacon soup would probably be the appetizer,
Yeah.
a little charcuterie board. It is to it would be ridiculous for the ink demon to even say it, but
Be kind.
be kind. And what I mean by that is to be kind to yourself and to others, and that there's the obvious rewards of being kind and operating positively, and that we put something positive and useful forward into the world, and that, but it's also distinct in that everyone you meet will have an impact on your future and their future, and even if it's in some really teeny tiny minute way. For instance, when I was just starting as a voice talent, and I'd go into a studio, a lot of times you check in and there's other talent there, and there's a receptionist at the desk and you talk to them. I would just be kind and make jokes with everybody and just do my usual Sean Crisden shtick, because that's who I am. And I would see other talent come in and be total jerks because they felt that they were special or they were ruled by ego. And I'm not telling you how to behave or how to interact with other people, but when you're kind, it gets you further. Because even in my 13 years as a voice talent, and even more as an on-camera talent, some of those people who were signing you in and were the production assistants on set or were the receptionists, now they're casting directors. Now they're directors. Now they're making decisions for talent. And I've actually run into a few who remembered me, and they're like, hey, and we had a good time because I always treated them kindly. And they treated me the same. Rather than I can imagine them remembering jerks who were jerks to them because they thought they were above them and but their ego needed to be satisfied, that's going to come back and bite you in the booty. Yeah. So always be kind. So that's a great example of kindness, but also kind to yourself in that manage your own expectations with yourself and don't be too hard on yourself with what you expect. Things are slow and everything's a process. Sometimes it's fast, but a lot of times things take time to nurture and grow. So be kind with what you expect of yourself and don't be so hard on yourself, and treat your body well. Like we talked about that, right? So part of that kindness is not challenging the limits of my intestinal fortitude by eating a ton of crap all the time. Sometimes I do. It's gonna be pizza tonight, and it's gonna be a lot.
Yeah.
But it's something that you want to do sparingly. So you want to treat your body kindly as well. So that kindness is something that you can utilize for yourself, for how you treat others, for how you think of yourself. So it's mentally and physically for you. But also, how do we interact with other people? Do we leave places better than we found them? Do people interact with us and feel better for it? And then do we feel better for it? Because obviously you don't want to be a doormat, and you don't want to sacrifice yourself to give to others to the point of where it's detrimental to you and your foundation, because then you have nothing left. The giving tree, anyone? But you have to use that as a basis for how you operate. I usually tell people, so here's a piece of advice that I give folks for maintaining relationships, be they personal or professional, platonic or romantic. I have 3 basically rules that I use for a relationship. The first is the management of expectations. I manage the expectations of myself and of the other parties involved in the relationship. This is what you can expect. And that also covers, are they a liar? Are you a liar? Let them know you're a liar so they know they can expect you to never tell the truth. The second one is open communication. Always be willing to communicate about what your needs are, what your wants are, and to listen to the needs and wants of the other party or parties involved in the relationship. If you can't do that, it will not be successful. And the third is a baseline of kindness. Everything I do in this relationship, until it is proven to me otherwise that I should not, will be done with an expectation of kindness. A baseline. That's the benchmark. Right there's the little kind line, and that's where we hang out. If they deserve more, I give them more. If they become jerks, they get a lot less. So that's how I approach relationships. All of them.
Yeah.
And it's generally been pretty successful. So apply that. Well, how's that going to help me be a voice actor? Well, voice acting by and large is a lot of relationship building. Really, at doing anything in the world, you are not an island. You can't do it yourself. You have to interact with other people and build the networks and build the bridges to get the work, get the jobs, and to be known.
My parents
happening.
have said it's not so much what you know, it's who you know as well.
100%. Both of those go hand in hand. I mean, I'm sure you've probably heard in other interviews I talk about the Sporth method when I get called in to talk about how did you do what you did and blah, blah, blah.
I don't think I've heard of the Sporth.
Oh, no. I wish you would have, because now it's going to be another 40 minutes. No, I'll give you a quick one. So I also talk about the Sporth method. That's how it's a set of ideas that I apply to trying to accomplish anything. So SPORTH, Sporth. S. The first S is the skill. You need the basic skill to do whatever it is you're attempting to do to get you in the door. You do not have to be exceptional at it, but you can't be utterly terrible. You just need the basic skill. If you've seen anything in the world, and especially we talk about media, creative media, a lot of your favorite talents aren't necessarily the greatest talent to ever do whatever it is that they've done. Right?
Mm-hmm.
They have the skill to do what is necessary and maybe add a little pizzazz to it or something special or unique to them. But you don't have to be the best. You don't have to be. It helps if you are, but that shouldn't be the goal. So S, skill. You need the basic skill to get in the door. P, persistence. You have to be persistent to acquire that skill and to continue to develop it. When you fall down, you get back up. If you fall down and you stay down, then the journey is over. So you have to constantly get up, and you have to expect that to happen. Doesn't matter what you're doing. And you will fall down. You will fail. You have to learn from the failures. They're important to understand, why did I fail? And then when you get back up, you try it another way.
Mm-hmm.
That's the P.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Opportunity. I'm just going to ramble. Stop me if you need to. So the opportunity is, opportunities exist, but it's also important to understand that you need to be able to create opportunity. You need to go out and put yourself out there. You got to pound pavement, so to speak, and make the phone call, send the DM, send the email, make the connection to let people know what you do, to build the opportunities for yourself and to keep your eyes and ears open. Because if you're sitting in your bedroom or sitting in your parents' basement, opportunities aren't necessarily going to come knocking on the door looking for you. You have to go out and make them and create them. So that's the O in Sporth, opportunity. R, resources. You need resources. So what are they? So they're not just the typical things like money. I need money. Oh, I got to go to this seminar. I got to pay for this virtual seminar. I have to fly here to go to this thing to meet this person. Yeah, there's some monetary resources that are important, but we also talk about people as a resource. So building the network, like we were just saying, who you know. A lot of the gigs I get now, I don't even audition for. It's just people who have worked with me or that know me and say, hey, Sean can do that. And I just don't even audition. They're like, hey, can you do this? Yeah. When are you available? Okay, here. And it just works that way because I was kind to people and I tried to make a good experience without being ruled by ego or negativity or getting in and making things just a mess. So you try to be easy to work with, but all of those resources help you. So it's about finding cheerleaders to help move you along and not what I call anchors who weigh you down and say, you can't do that. So many people told me I couldn't be a voice actor, that I couldn't do it. I needed to go get a real job. If I would have listened to them and stayed stuck with them, I wouldn't be doing this. So you have to
you
find
wouldn't be
people
sitting
who
right
support
here.
you. That's right. I might be sitting right here. I don't know. But I'd probably be eating chips and sleeping. But it's
in the chair.
It's the idea. Yeah, in the chair, just drool and just the hat might look a little.
We may
different.
need to redo this entire speech because your autofocus has decided your vaporizer is the center of attention.
Let's see. It says I'm not here. How's this?
That's better. Your
Better.
vaporizer was the center of attention for most of that.
Well, it is pretty exciting back there.
It looks very cool.
Well, it's also the camera. Like this camera has an auto shut off, so that I can't even see what's going on anymore. So that if I put my head down, it's just like, let's look at something more interesting than him. So that was
yes.
Yeah. Then his him.
him.
So R was resources. So you have to build the resources, and a lot of that is people in the network and a mentor. If you can find a mentor so that you don't have to make the same mistakes that they made, and that they can possibly steer you in the right direction. T is time. Nothing happens quickly. There's rarely lightning in a bottle and it'll strike. Sometimes, but we can't expect that. We have to expect that we have to put in the time to make it happen. So it'll be a while, and you have to build all of these things and let them grow organically. H, sporth. So that's the lisp at the end of it. Sporth. The H is hunger. If you are not hungry, none of the other elements matter. You will fall down and you will stay down because you don't care.
Yeah.
There's nothing driving you. There's no fire in the belly to make you want to continue to get up, to make you want to develop the skill, to make you want to build the network and find the resources and spend the time doing whatever it is you're trying to do. You need the hunger. Sit at the table and bang your knife and fork and want to be fed. If you're already satiated and full, you'll push away and start drooling on yourself as you sleep. So those are the that's sporth, the quick sporth definition for anything you're trying to do. Consider some of those factors and elements, and think if they're all aligned, so that you can stack the deck in your favor to maybe have more favorable results. Nothing's guaranteed, but we want to at least try to go to the battle well armed, well prepared, and well trained. So that's maybe that answers that. I hope.
That definitely does answer it. That's an acceptable answer.
Acceptable.
Not great, but acceptable. No, kidding. Okay.
What else
well,
do we have? What else? Was that number 2?
Pretty
that
much,
number 2 of 3?
That was 2 of 3. Unfortunately. I don't know about unfortunate for you. You want to go eat pizza. But unfortunate for me, because I'm going to soon have to say goodbye. And
That's
that
true.
is a sad thing.
Goodbye doesn't mean it's forever.
That's true. Alright. So, the final question I have set for this is... I asked both Allie and Dave if they could do this, and they did. And you do not have
Suckers.
You do not have to agree. There is no legal obligation. This is what I consider the fine for being on my channel. So I have this outro song, right? And at the end of my videos, it does this big build-up as I'm saying goodbye, and then the original song goes quiet and says, everything changes, and then it goes, ba-da-da-da-da-da, and explodes, right? And I have replaced the everything changes with Betty and Joey Drew saying, subscribe to the Poeticminecart. And I was curious if the Ink Demon could be added to the outro.
Well, you'd have to ask him, I guess, if he's
Can
willing to...
Can I speak with him momentarily?
Yeah, I guess so. I guess we'll ask him. Where his handlers are here, so he might come out. And
it's like the SpongeBob meme. He's over on the on your right in a cage, and it's like, why is he in a cage? He growled at me.
Yeah.
I think.
So I think you. Yeah, I think you can ask him, and we'll see what he'll do.
All right. Hi, Ink Demon. Nice to meet you.
What's up?
I probably look like food, and you probably want to consume me, but I have a question for you, Mr. All-Godly King of the Ink.
Yeah.
I was wondering if you could finish off this interview with with you saying, subscribe to the Poeticminecart.
No.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Ink Demon.
Subscribe. Oh, wait. That would be too slow. Subscribe to the Poeticminecart. No, wait. That would be too fast. Subscribe to the Poeticminecart.
Thank you very much, Mr. Godly King of Ink and Demon of Ink and all-powerful being of Inkness. Thank you.
I heard there would be pizza.
You're gonna have to take that up with Sean.
Is my pizza?
Okay, you seem a little tense, Mr. Ink Demon, sir. Mr. Dr. Professor Ink Demon.
Pepperoni.
I would take that up with Sean.
Soul. A voice. Delicious, cheesy bread.
I would take this up with Mr. Sean Crisden. Ask him about the pizza, because I think that's his plan, not mine. But thank you very much for adding to my YouTube outro. It's very appreciated, and it was lovely speaking with you today, what little I saw you.
That's what happens.
The dark puddles away.
You looked very bored at the end of that. You're like, awaken.
They awaken.
You're like, I've done this before.
The dark puddles, they awaken. You know, but that's also part of.
Jimmy, the dark puddles awaken for your mom.
The dark puddles awaken.
I wasn't expecting the keepers.
But it's also part of. It's not always exciting to watch, you know. Like you watch, you're like,
Yeah.
oh, this must be really intense, and
And
but
then you're just
everything
sitting there
kinda,
like,
it's kind of.
but yeah, that I think is the last of the thing. That
The
is
last of the thing.
the last of the thing. It is pizza
So
time.
be it. So be it.
As
Pizza time.
as Peter Parker once said, pizza time.
Pizza time. Whenever I hear pizza time, it's pure Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, that's
For
true.
me,
Yeah.
just Michelangelo.
Oh yeah, dude, pizza time!
So it's just, you know. Well, this was
Yeah.
great. Thank you for
Yeah,
thank
it
you
was
for
a
having
lot of
me. I
fun.
enjoy-
Thank you for
being had.
agreeing to be here for 2 hours, 7 minutes, and 27 seconds of your time.
Well, I aim to please.
But yeah, this was a lot of fun. I think people are going to enjoy this video. I think
Sorry,
people will like it. I still don't know what happened in 30 minutes into the video when I left for the bathroom, but I will find
Nothing.
out
Absolutely
eventually.
nothing.
I will
Nothing we need
find
to talk
out.
about.
I'll find out something about eggplants, and that's about it.
That sounds absurd. That's ridiculous. I don't think anything. We just waited here patiently, didn't we, everyone?
Yeah, you didn't even speak to
yeah,
them.
we-
It was silence.
No. Yeah.
It was like
I,
2
I
minutes
heard
of
just-
silence.
Errant stomach noises and somebody breathing. That was about it.
Somebody? Who's somebody? Someone in the chat? Was one of
I don't
you
know,
breathing?
I saw something slide under your bed. I assume that was just always there. I don't know. You'll probably find out about it later tonight.
Probably.
No problems. No worries.
Yeah, no worries. Not one bit. But yeah, this was a lot of fun. I feel like I've definitely gotten better at being a bit more professional with interviews like these. I'm still energetic and silly, but I actually managed to keep this one on track for most of the time. And I'm getting better at these.
We did good. We did good.
Yeah. And, who knows, maybe someday you'll be back on the channel for some reason. I don't know why you'd ever
For
want to
some
come
reason,
back.
I don't know. I don't know
why
why. I don't
I don't
why I would come back or whatever I could do to merit anyone caring about me. But
I mean,
perhaps I'm open to
the
it.
response of this video is going to say a lot for if you ever come back. Because
That's
if
true.
it doesn't
That's
get
true.
a lot of views, I won't let you come back.
We need more Spider-Man. We need to. It's all about those metrics. See, so that's right. The 4 viewers that are going to say, "Oh, it's Sean Crisden. Who's he? Oh, that guy. No, that. Yeah.
To the few of you who left in the first 2 minutes.
You didn't
Why?
miss anything.
Yeah, no,
See?
you missed.
We're still here.
You missed nothing.
Nothing. Thanks for coming back though to check on us after you
thank
left.
you for checking on us. This is gonna be premiering live, so people could actually do that. Show up for a few minutes and then
True.
pop in right now. So that's
See.
an entirely possible turn of events. So that you,
All things are possible.
you, that one person who just entered.
Yep. There you are.
Hi. Anyway,
You're all.
this will conclude the interview. Let me get the thumbnail. This is what I do. Perfect. All right, you are now. All right, there's the thumbnail. Alrighty.
Mhm.
I don't know if you've seen the layout of the screen, but
I haven't.
there is on top. It is, the portal you see when you die in the first game, the big inky tunnel. I took that, wrote an interview with Sean Crisden, and it's on the bottom. Underneath us, we're in the center, and then on top there's the Joey Drew Studios sign.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, and I can,
Well
and I
done,
have
well
the
done.
ability to zoom it into your face. It's looking at you right now, or zoom it into my face, which I didn't use at all during this, but I did use this one, the big zoom in on just your face, when I left for the bathroom. So it's just you. And it is on that screen currently. And then I came back and did this. But yeah, that concludes an interview with Sean Crisden. Thank you again for appearing on the channel.
My pleasure.
Yeah, and I will definitely keep you updated on Discord and let you know when the video is going to premiere. Maybe you could share it
Perfect.
around with some of the cast.
I will
Let
do
them
just
know
that.
that you did something.
I did a thing.
You did a
and
thing.
spoke fondly of them all, except for that one.
Yeah, that one that we blame.
That's right. Mm.
Yes, indeed, indeed.
Mm. Mm.
The one that I am currently friends with.
Friends.
Friends. I will betray him eventually.
Exactly.
But anyway, and now the autofocus likes your vaporizer again.
I'm telling you, what could you do? Here,
There
this
we
is my
go.
face, guys.
This is what he looks like. You haven't been able to see him this whole time. All
I'm
right.
sorry. We'll go back. We'll go back.
Also,
to
this had the least amount of technical difficulties I've ever had.
That's good.
Like
Good,
with
see?
Dave,
We're
it
making
took
progress.
Dave 30 minutes to get his mic working.
Hmm.
And then with Allie, my camera wasn't working.
Ah.
And so
always
this
something.
one had nothing. My camera was
This is
working,
good.
was broken for like 30 seconds, but then after that it was fine. But yeah, that is the end. I've said that 4 times now. This is the end. The end.
This is the actual end of the ends, ending the
This
ending.
is going to end with a close-up of Sean approaching the camera very slowly, and it is going to cut to the bendy thing that says consumed. And that's how this will end.
Slowly, very slowly.
Very slowly.
I'm so hungry.
You must eat the camera.
You can see my pores. You see them?
Subscribe to the Poetic Minecart.